use of confidential informants, and controlled purchases of mostly synthetic marijuana, but also bath salts from 2 retail establishments in the borough of Carlisle. One is the NS Deli, which is over on Willow Street. The other, Deli Creations, which is on West Lowther Street. The undercover operations and the controlled purchases led to the drafting and approval of a search warrant. You have one of the affidavits in front of you. That search warrant was executed on Friday, July 6th, and as a result of that search warrant, the police seized in excess of 20,000 doses of synthetic marijuana and bath salts from both of those locations. The bulk of what was seized is synthetic marijuana. Of that number, 15,000 doses were seized from NS Deli, 5,000 seized from Deli Creations. The value, conservatively, and now what you see up here is a portion of what was seized. I mean, we're talking about 20,000 packages, obviously. This is just a portion. The retail or street value, I guess we can call it retail value since they're being sold in retail establishments. The retail value of what was seized is easily in the neighborhood of $500,000. We saw price tags on some of these items at $35, and they've been purchased at anywhere from $20 all the way up to $70 for certain versions of bath salts. This problem, unfortunately, is one that's growing not just here, but also throughout this Commonwealth. Law enforcement responded to the proliferation of bath salts and synthetic marijuana last summer, and a law was passed by the legislature and signed into law by the governor banning certain formulations of bath salts and synthetic marijuana, essentially making them a controlled substance and making them subject to our criminal penalties in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. What the people who manufacture these items have done since then is continue to do the same things. Some have reformulated them to try to get around the law that was passed. But for example, the synthetic marijuana that was purchased previously as part of this investigation was sent to the state police lab, and it was confirmed that it is a Schedule I controlled substance. So while we in law enforcement were able to, with the help of the legislature, respond to this danger, we certainly haven't stopped it. I have in the past compared this to the epidemic of methamphetamine abuse, which started to trickle into this state, especially in the western and northwestern portions of the state. We've seen a little bit of it around here, a little bit of it in the southeast, but we passed some laws moving precursors to meth behind the counter in stores, making it more difficult to produce. And we did a pretty good job stopping meth at our borders, and that's going back a number of years. We've done a similar thing here with bath salts and synthetic marijuana, but as you can see, it hasn't stopped this trade. The particular danger for us in law enforcement with these types of substances is frankly twofold. One is they're very, very easily accessible to not only adults but also younger people, teenagers, who can walk into an NS Deli or walk into Deli Creations, and if they know what to ask for, they can get their hands on this. So that danger is then magnified by the fact that no one knows what the effect of ingesting these substances will be. You know, we have a pretty good idea as experienced law enforcement officials what the effect of heroin or cocaine or marijuana will be on someone who takes it, and also, frankly, when we get that person in our hands, how to help that person detox. We've seen reactions all over the board from these sorts of substances. I mean, you're all news people, you follow the news, you know some of the things that have happened around the country that have been ascribed to ingestion of bath salts and synthetic marijuana. I have a case that I talk about often where a mother of a teenager from Mechanicsburg called me and told me a story about her son, her teenage son, after ingesting synthetic marijuana, and he was tearing up the house. All they could do was get out of the house and wait until he was done. There was nothing else they could do. And she called me and said, what do we need to do to get this stuff off of the streets? So this is what we need to do to get it off the streets. This investigation was a product of joint work, as it almost always is in Cumberland County, of the Carlisle Police Department, which is the mainstay of the Cumberland County Drug Task Force since its formation. It's been Carlisle that has always had a full-time person on the task force and has always dedicated substantial resources to the fight against illegal drugs. The Cumberland County Drug Task Force, of course, and the Pennsylvania State Police, who also provide full-time assistance to us with the task force and participated in this undercover operation. We have not decided yet, after this seizure, who will be charged. Whether, and the potential jeopardy is there for the clerks who certainly sold the substances, but also the owners of these establishments. And not only is there potential criminal jeopardy for these people, there's also jeopardy of having their assets seized under our drug forfeiture laws. You've seen us before: seize cars, seize cash, seize houses. There is precedent for seizing businesses. We haven't made a final determination on that, but that's certainly on the table as we consider what to do here. This is, well, certainly since bath salts and synthetics are pretty new, this is the largest operation we've done of this kind. But in terms of drugs being sold in a retail environment, it's the largest one we've done since I've been district attorney. It's a credit to the great work of Carlisle, of our task force and state police, and their mission to continue to protect the citizens of this community. So no matter what happens here with criminal charges, the results of those criminal charges or seizures, we've got 20,000 doses of this stuff off the streets. And that is as important in what we do as anything else. So with that, I'll turn it over to the Chief for brief comments, and then we'll be happy to take some questions.
Thank you. The only thing I would like to add is I do want to compliment the officers and detectives who put this case together. They became aware of the fact that even though, as Dave Freed pointed out, these substances have been illegal since last summer. They still were being obtained and used and abused by people in our community. We were able to gather information. Our detectives and officers conducted the investigation, and this is what we believe is the successful outcome of that investigation. And again, as Dave pointed out, it was a multi-agency operation with excellent cooperation by all involved. And this is just the first step. As he pointed out, there's still some further work to be done in terms of evaluating who's going to be charged with what and